Okay, this is the KCS Coin Counting Scale, and it's a accompanying printer, optional add-on if you need one. And we're going to install the printer and use it to print some counts. All right, so inside the box, of course, you have the actual printer itself. All right, has a rechargeable battery. Okay, and then inside you have the printer paper. All right, and then it does come with a little case you can put around it if you so desire. All right, and inside the smaller box is both sets of cables. All right, so this cable is your recharging cable. And okay, so obviously you have the one plug here that plugs into the wall, and then one end of the cord plugs into that, and then the other end plugs into the printer. So then you can just plug it in, recharge your battery. Now this is only for recharging. You don't run the battery, run the printer from this. This is just for recharging. When you're using the printer day to day, you use it without the cord plugged in. All right, and the other cord is the one that actually hooks up to the KCS 60. All right, so you have a 9-pin connector that plugs into the side of the KCS 60, and then the USB plugs into the printer. Now when you're hooking up the printer cable, I recommend removing the tray first. Okay, and you have your 9-pin connector. Make sure you line it up correctly. Okay, and then there are screws on the side. Oh, it's a flathead screwdriver, and I pulled out a Phillips head. Let me grab a flathead real quick. All right, sorry about that. It is a flathead screw, so we can take that and screw it down onto the side. Now, some people may think, well, I'll just leave it loose so I can take it on and off easy, which is fine. But if you do leave it loose, there's a chance that the plug could fall out while you're using the machine, and then then you're not going to get your data, and it's not going to print properly. So I recommend going ahead and screwing it on. That way you make sure you have contact. All right, and again the other end plugs into the printer. Get my tray back on here. Okay, so turning the printer on, power button's on the right here. You hold it down for a couple of seconds till it makes a little beeping sound. There you go, and green light shows it's on. Turn your scale on. And when it's done with its countdown, you can start processing whatever coins. Let's say we're going to do some quarters. All right. Now I have I have an empty cup here that I want to put quarters in. I can put that on the top there. Hit the T button to tear out the weight of that quarter, of that container rather. Now I'm at 0. I can start weighing some quarters. Put a few quarters on there. So I have 55 quarters in there, 1375. I hit this M+ button, saves it in memory, and prints out that record. All right. Now say I want to weigh a second batch of quarters. Okay. First I want to do is remove those. Tap my quarter button again to go back to 0. Put a different batch of quarters on there. Hit M+. Now I have record 2. It saves it in memory and prints it again. Okay, let's say I have a third batch of quarters. Hit quarter. Put that third batch of quarters on. Hit M+. And we're going along. Let's say this time I want to switch and do some pennies. All right. So I choose penny. Pennies on. All right, hit the M+. Record 4 has pennies. Okay, let's say I'm done now and I want to get my totals. All right, first thing I want to do is hit the CE to get back to my main screen. All right, now from here, if I hit total, it's going to print out the total of all 4 of those records. It's going to say tell you there's 4 records, tell you the total dollar amount on it. All right, so I can have that record. Record 1, 55 quarters, 70 quarters, 120 quarters, but 122 pennies. All right. If I want to print another copy of this, I can hit print. And it'll print out a second copy of that same receipt. Okay. So let's say I'm done for the day. If I hit, let's see, go back to the main screen here. If I hit MR, is the recall, it'll scroll through. Record 1 is blinking, quarters, 55, 1375. Record 2 was quarters, record 3, record 4 was pennies. Okay. And then, so you can scroll through the records that you've already saved in there. All right. Again, CE takes you back to your main screen. I can choose, whatever other denominations or whatever things I want to do. MC clears your memory. So now I don't have anything saved in memory. If I try to look at it, it'll beep at me telling me I have nothing saved in memory. All right. Also, if you turn the scale off and then turn the scale back on again, that also clears out your memory. All right. So that's, and if you want to turn the printer off, just hold the button down for a couple of seconds. It'll beep at you and it'll go off. But that's it. That's the basics of hooking up the printer and doing some counts and saving and printing your records. All right. If you have any questions, just give us a call. Thank you very much.